You need to be able to read this later on, so please, for the love of God, print it in block capital letters only. First name, last name, block capital letters, pass it on. Thank you very much.
Podpišite z velikimi črkami.
Ja. Sem razumela. Hvala.
What'd you get? Ginger ale.
I didn't get one yet.
With Jameson. Yeah, I hope so. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, tasters, a few things before we begin. One, most importantly, this may upset some of you. This is not a shot drinking competition. We would like you to appreciate the 3 whiskey samples you have in front of you. And the way I'm going to ask you to conduct the tasting, you're going to select one of the whiskey samples. Have a very good smell of it first. When you're ready, have a little sip, a little taste, hold in your mouth for a moment and then swallow. The reason we ask you to hold the whiskey in your mouth for a moment is going to release all the flavour into your mouth. You can fully appreciate the whiskey that way. The reason, of course, we ask you to swallow, we do not waste alcohol here. So you're going to smell, sip, hold, swallow. The 3 whiskies you have are as follows. In the centre you have the Jameson. That is our Jameson original, age anything from 5 to 7 years old. To the left you have a Scotch whisky. It's a Johnny Walker Black Label 12-year-old blended whisky. To the right of that we have a very well-known American whisky. Now most people can guess the American whisky at this stage. It isn't he, Jack Daniels. We've added a small drop of water to each one of the whiskies just to bring out the flavours in each one. Now, you all have a glass of water. First thing I'm going to ask you to do is take a drink of water, please, just to cleanse your palates before the tasting. To begin, you're going to go to the centre sample, to the one in the middle. So please select the Jameson, or Jameson, or however the hell you pronounce it. Have a good smell, have a sip, remember to hold, and swallow. Now, with the Jameson, you may notice it's got a subtle sweetness to it. It's got a luxurious mix of malt and vanilla. And for a neat whiskey, it goes down fairly easily. And John Jameson used to use a smokeless coal known as anthracite to dry his barley with. We don't use that anymore today. Today we use a natural gas that leaves a very natural and smooth taste on the final product. You may detect some vanilla, maybe a hint of spice, toffee, even hazelnut from that particular variety of Jameson. Well over 50% of the flavours come from the seasoned barrels, and that's why the seasoned barrels are so important. And finally, the triple distillation gets rid of the rough edges off the whiskey, offers an extra smoothness to it, and that's what helps it to go down so easily. That's our Jameson original, age anything from 5 to 7 years old, and that's what everyone is drinking here at the moment. You're all drinking the Jameson original. So please have another drink of water, once again, just to cleanse your palates. Next, we're going to go to the left-hand side, to the Scotch whisky. So please select the Scotch. Have a good smell. When you're ready, have a sip, have a taste. Remember to hold and swallow. You may recall at the beginning of the tour I mentioned that most Scotch whiskies will use a peat or turf to dry their barley with a very smoky fuel. In turn, this is going to leave a very smoky and peaty taste and smell on the final product. Also, it's got a different taste sensation going down. This is due to a double distillation, so unfortunately not quite as smooth as the triple distilled Jameson. And lastly, it's known as a blended whiskey. Traditionally, a blended whiskey means they've taken different whiskies from different distilleries, brought them all together to make them one final whiskey, versus the Jameson, which is known as a single distillery whiskey. It's made underneath one roof. And that's some differences between the Johnny Walker and the Jameson. Have one more drink of water, please. You're almost in. And last by no means least, we're going to go to the right-hand side to the American whiskey. So please select the Jack. Have a good smell, have a sip, have a taste, and swallow. Now at this stage, one of the tour guides will say that the taste and smell of Jack Daniels may remind a lot of people of college and or very bad decisions. That's true for anyone here. So, believe it or not, the American whiskey is actually sweeter than the other 2 whiskies. The main ingredient is corn or maize, naturally a very sweet cereal. Now, the barley that we use is not quite as sweet. The American whiskey is made up of at least 51% corn or maize. Also, they would use brand new wooden barrels, slightly charred or burned on the inside for maturing the whiskey in. In turn, these brand new wooden barrels will impart very woody and perfumy and floral notes and flavours onto the final whiskey. And lastly, it's got that different taste sensation going down. This is due to one single distillation. That's it. That's the end of the tasting. Congratulations. Well done. You're still sitting up straight. That's a very good sign. Again, a round of applause, please, for the tasters. Well done, tasters. Okay, if you want to finish the whiskey, you may now finish the whiskey. If you feel like sharing what you have left, you can of course share what you have left. I have one final thing for you, so please don't move from those seats until I return. Everyone else just relax, finish the drinks, we'll be back to you in a moment or two.
Not that one. I can't believe
I didn't care for the Scotch whiskey.
like right away, it tastes like dirt.
The Jack wasn't too bad. Jameson was way smoother.
Like the big wino. I'm like, I think I'll finish all three.
What's that?
It's here.
Not everyone's finishing all three. It's like, oh, no, I am.
The American whiskey is. But I think that the whiskey tastes is one of the worst.